So one of the big reasons to why amateur golfers don't improve is because they are fixating far too much on working on specific downswing positions, improving those areas, but not being aware that most of these areas and these issues in the downswing are actually being caused by faults in the backswing. So I see so many golfers completely waste their time by working on things in the downswing when backswing is actually the fix. So I'm going to get into 3 things you need to look for in your backswing that will fix some specific movements in the downswing that you're probably already working on. So the first thing you need to make sure you see in your golf swing, in the backswing, is making sure your club face is square to the arc. Because I see so many golfers working on their open club face in the downswing. They might be aware that their club face is open. They're hitting the ball right all the time. But what they're trying to do, they're either trying to fix it with a big hand release, they've just got to release it more with the hands to square the face up, or they're trying to add some bow into the left wrist. Both of those will actually probably be spinning your wheels. I would very much find out why you're opening the club face first, then trying to fix it last minute, finding the root cause. Most often, that's in players' takeaways. So right at the beginning of the backswing, I'll see them come into their backswing, and as soon as they start that backswing, they have a big forearm rotation to where you can see my glove with a logo here pointing dead up towards the sky, my tattoo on the underside of my forearm pointing towards the ground. Look at the club face there, dead open. Club face is also whipped on the inside also, not a good position. You're going to have to do something to be able to re-square that. So what I want to see players do, and what you need to do here, is make sure that club face is nice and square to the arc. So you can see here in the takeaway, that club face is slightly angled down. It's more matching my spine here, and that is absolutely perfect. Look at my glove logo pointing slightly down towards the ground, diagonally down in front of the ball, and we can see my tattoo on the underside of the forearm pointing up and behind me. So going from open to square. So a little kind of drill for you to do here to make sure that club face is square, and this will fix a lot of your right shots straight away, is get into your takeaway, pause at shaft parallel to the ground, make sure that glove logo is pointing slightly down towards the ground. If you've got a standard grip, that'll give you a square club face. We're going to pause there. Yep, that's good. Swing up and hit the shot. Now the second one here is a huge one. This is for all you early extenders out there, as this is such a massive problem with golfers trying to fix the actual visual of the early extension coming through the golf ball, when this is an issue that is caused by something else. It's caused by many different things, absolutely. Some of them could be transition, some of them could be backswing, but this is the most common one I'm seeing with a lot of lessons at the moment. And that is their backswing and how they're moving and how they're turning in their backswing is really affecting them in their early extension. So I see this. I see as they're getting up to the top of the backswing, their hips are moving forward. So it's almost like the right side is going towards the golf ball. So of course, if the right side is going towards the golf ball, as you're completing that backswing, where is it going to continue to go in the downswing? Remember, golf swing, one fluid movement. It's going to continue to go down and go towards the golf ball in the downswing. So where you'd look at that on camera and go, oh, I just can't stop early extending. But if you drew like a pelvis line, you're going to see you're moving off it in the backswing. So we need to get and gain more hip depth in that backswing. So what more hip depth is, more depth of anything in the golf swing means more behind you. So we need to, instead of having the right side go forward, we need the right side to get deeper and go more back. So just like I'm doing here, I'm grabbing my trouser pocket on the right here and I'm pulling it back. So you can see there, it's turning my hips and it's getting the hips to move back, because then it's going to be far easier for me to be able to keep my pelvis back as I turn through. Remember, golf swing is one fluid movement. If we're priming it to do something in the backswing, we're priming a back move, we're going to be priming it to move back in that downswing as well. So feel like someone's grabbing your trouser pocket. So grabbing it right here and you're really pulling it back. Have a good look at this in your golf swing if you struggle with early extension. So pulling that trouser pocket back, and then I'm going to turn through the shot. So the third thing I want you to look at in your backswing, this is for all the over-the-top golfers, and that is your hand depth and your left arm depth. So remember, depth means more behind. So if you are someone who is struggling with the over top, no matter what you do, you can't fix it, no tip helps, no drill helps, you're stuck. Most of the time with those golfers, they're in this top of the backswing position. extremely high with that lead arm and hands. So with the lead arm in this very vertical position and hands right on top of you, no matter what you do in the downswing, you could turn in perfect sequencing. You could have an absolutely great arm movement, but still the club is going to fly out in front of you. Our hands will always follow, and our arms are rotation. So if I exaggerate it here, stretch out my right arm and just turn, you're going to see it's going to follow where I'm rotating. I'm not going to go to that extent, of course, but your arms will always follow that rotation. So the higher your arms are, essentially, they're more in front of you to some extent. When you turn, they're going to get even more in front, and you're going to swing over the top very out to win. It's a cause of early extension as well. So again, big one to look at for there. So what I want to see you do, I want to see that left arm in, let's say, a textbook way. I want it to cover the view of your right shoulder at the top of your backswing. So look in the camera, see if your right arm is covering that shoulder. And I also want to see, which your hands will pretty much be doing this if you do this with your left arm and right shoulder. I want to see the button of the club or your hands be, if there was a red line drawn straight down, be either on your ankles or behind. So ankles or heels ideally. If they were there, then that club is going to fall on path when you turn down in the downswing nicely. This is a lot of you golfers out there who throw rotation out the window going, no, it doesn't help you at all. It makes you swing even more over the top, makes you play terrible. That's because your backswing is trash, to be perfectly honest. So you have that really high left arm position. Yeah, if you rotate, you're going to hit the ball terribly. So we need to get those arms a little bit more back here, guys. So again, what we were doing in the last one, that hip depth, this helps massively for the depth of your arms as well. For golfers who have those arms go way too high up, you're most likely not turning. Remember I said for downswing, hands and arms following you, same thing happens with backswing rotation, just in the opposite direction. So when you're rotating the backswing, your arms are going to go more around you. So you don't need to pull them in, absolutely not. You just need to get a nice good rotation, and your arms and your left arm will get across that shoulder plane, your hands will get more deeper around your heel region, and then you're going to not swing over the top. So look for that depth of your left arm and your hands. So guys, those are really 3 key points to look at in your backswing, your takeaway. Check whether the club face is good there. Check your hip depth, whether you're moving off that hip line going in that backswing. We want to keep the hips back, turn the hips. That's one good one to look at there to prevent you from some early extension movements in the downswing. And 3, of course, hand depth at the top. Create a good club path. We really want to see those hands and left arm in a good position. So loads of the stuff you're working on in the downswing can all be fixed if you do those specific things. So absolutely, the more knowledge you have about the backswing, the better. A good backswing leads to a good downswing. So it's very, very vitally important. So okay guys, if you enjoyed this video, click that like button. If you want more golf instruction, just like this, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video. So get more clued up on the backswing, and your downswing will get better straight away.